Hi, it's Holy Thursday, and I've been reflecting about this day and the events that took place when Jesus had his last meal with the disciples. And it reminded me of how, before passing, a lot of us we write our wills to tell family and friends on what to do in the event that we eventually pass on. And Jesus is leaving his will to the disciples, and there is something that stands out. He insists on humility in service, and in his message to the disciples he tells them, if there is any of you who wants to be greatest among any other here, you must serve the others. You must serve the others. And to illustrate this, he goes down on his knees as the master of the house. He goes down on his knees and he washes the feet of the disciples, and he tells them, you must do this to others. Now, when we look at Jesus' life at his last moment, his last days, one of us will probably be expecting that maybe he will be, he will enumerate his achievements in terms of healing, in terms of deliverance, and all the wonderful miracles he performs. Now, when you look at the life of Jesus, you don't see him, saying all this, any of this in any place. You don't see Jesus boasting about, how many people got healed, how many people got delivered. Now, this is contrary to what is happening in the church today. A lot of ministers believe that in order for you to gain relevance, it must relate to the number of people you heal, the number of people you delivered, and this has led to a lot of lies tellings in the church today. You sit and you watch or you listen to a minister confidently lie to people just because they want to gain attention, just because they want to gain some level of relevance with the people. It is so sad. Jesus is not focused on that. Jesus is focused on how these people have to serve in order to win souls for the kingdom. When we read the Gospel of Luke chapter 10, the first 20 verses, it tells us on how Jesus sent out the 72 and how successful they were when they went out for that mission. And when the 72 apostles came back, they were so excited to tell Jesus how much people were healed and how demons were casted out of the people. And one thing Jesus told them, yes, I know, I gave you the authority over sickness, I gave you the authority over demons, but your joy, in verse 20, he tells them, is that your names are written in the book of life. That is what you should be celebrating. You should be celebrating that heaven knows you. And not because demons heard you, not because demons obeyed you. Christ gave us that authority before he left. He gave us the authority, he gave us the power to be able to heal the sick, to be able to deliver those that have been suppressed by demons. But that is not where the joy is. And that is why at the end of the parable of the lost sheep, he says there is joy in heaven over a sinner that repents than the 99 that were already there. So my dear brothers and sisters, I just want to admonish us today to pay our attention on how many souls we win for the gospel of Christ. It is not about the structures. Those structures, my dear friends, they are good, but those should not be the highlight of our ministry. Your highlight of your ministry is not the number of houses you build. It's not the number of institutions you erect. It's not about the number of people that got delivered. It's not about the number of people that got healed. It is about the number of people who heard the gospel of Jesus Christ and gave their lives to Christ. It is the number of people who heard the gospel and said no to sin and yes to righteousness. And also, I know that today a lot of us, will be playing the movie scene of going down on our knees. I mean, us ministers playing the movie scene of going down on our knees and washing the feet of our Christians. My dear brothers and sisters, it is not about you doing that today. The act of washing of feet was just a demonstration, was just an illustration of who we actually supposed to be as spiritual leaders, as heads in the house of God. Serve the people with humility. Don't wash their feet today and the next day you're bullying them. Don't wash their feet today and the next day you're disrespecting them. Don't wash their feet today and the next day you look at them to be so irrelevant before you. Yes, because it's so sad the way some of us, we treat the people who serve under us, the way we treat the people, who come to us. At times it's so sad and it's really, really pathetic. Serve in humility. Serve those people in humility. Be ready to go down on your knees for them. Go down on your knees and pray for them. Go down on your knees and talk to the Father on their behalf. That is why you have been called. Go down on your knees. Humble yourself. Be an intercessor for these people. Don't lord it over them. That is who the Gentiles were. Make a difference. Make a difference. Today we have a lot of Christians that are complaining, of the suppression, and even fellow ministers. You see the way some pastors treat their, fellow colleague pastors just because somebody had a so-called position. No, my dear friends, serve in humility, because there is honor when you serve in humility. And as we serve in humility, there is one thing, just the same way Jesus Christ was exalted after all his service in humility, his name was exalted above every other name. We too, when we serve in humility, we will have that place to be able to be seated with Christ in heavenly places. Yes, that is where our position is. And so I admonish us this day to serve in humility. Reduce this pride. Because the truth is, there are some of us ministers, if God decides to heal everybody today, if God decides to bring deliverance to everyone today, if God decides to make everybody to have a comfortable life, I bet you there are a lot of ministers who will be out of the ministry today because they won't have a message for the people, because all they speak of is healing, deliverance, structures, money, this, that. They won't have any message. Focus on the message of the cross. And when you do that in humility. And as you serve the Lord in humility, God will bless you and increase you for the honor and the glory of his name. God bless you, and happy Holy Thursday. Bye.